My name is Andrew Horton, and I'm here today to talk to you about efficiency, effectiveness, and productivity. And what I want to do is I'm going to give you a whole lot of invitations. I want you to take those invitations, and I want you to bring them into your life, and I want you to use them. Because I can stand here all day, and I can just impart buckets of knowledge, but until you take that knowledge and you bring it into your life and you actually use it, it's of no value. So ostensibly, these invitations are just a whole lot of ideas. Are they all going to work for you? Well, maybe. It's like a pair of shoes. A pair of shoes that fits me perfectly, if I take them off and I give them to you, they may fit, but they also may give you blisters. So try them. Take these invitations. Bring them into your life. Use them. You know, as Jim Rohn says, what if it is just an apple a day? What if it is just one apple keeps the doctor away, but you're not eating that apple? What if these ideas that I'm going to share with you are going to revolutionize your life, are going to make you so effective, so efficient, that they're going to put you leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else, and you don't use them? Take these ideas, take ownership of them, bring them into your life, and make them yours. Now, what I want you to do is, we're going to watch a little video clip about goal setting, about how important it is to actually have a direction, to have an idea, to have some purpose, some point to where you're actually wanting to go. Watch this video, and then let me know, after we've seen it, let me know how you feel, what your thoughts are. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you on board Flight 231, or is it 123 or 231? I'm really not sure, but it doesn't really matter, because we're going to just take off and fly a little east and fly a little south for a while, and maybe a little west, and we'll just sort of get up into the jet stream and let it take us wherever it wants to. Oh, and by the way, I have absolutely no idea how much fuel we got on board, but of course that doesn't matter because we don't know where we're going. I don't know about you guys, okay, but there's absolutely no way I would stay on a plane with a captain like that at the controls. But how many of you have got a captain just like that in charge of your life, that's running things in your life, that has absolutely no idea where he's going, absolutely no idea what direction they're going in, and scary enough, has absolutely no idea how much energy they need? I want to highlight three concepts today. One is my code of personal achievement. And what that really is it's just a code that we make with ourselves. It's a pact that we make with ourselves where we actually decide there's 5 things we're going to do every single day. And until we've finished completing those 5 tasks, our head doesn't hit the pillow. We're also going to have a performance management system where we're going to review our actions, and we're actually going to see, are the actions that we're taking every day, are they delivering the results that we want? And then we're going to do probably the most important thing you can do in your life. We're going to set time aside to do these things, called meetings with our future. I want to tell you a few little stories, some stories about my own life, about things that I've done, just to try and highlight just how important and easy these concepts are to apply in your life. The first one was about 16 years ago. I was driving down the N3 highway towards Johannesburg, and like most young men filled with testosterone, decided that I had to have the fast lane. And of course there was another young man, and he decided he also wanted to have the fast lane. And so we had a little bit of a disagreement, and after bumping each other a number of times, my car managed to roll, and it slid across the highway, taking 20 by 16 centimeters off the top of my head. I fractured my spine, C5 and 6. Well, I was lying there in ICU and sort of thinking about how clever I'd been. And I realized, well, lying paralyzed wasn't an option for me. What I was going to do is I was going to break free from that. Yes, I had a great challenge. It was probably the greatest challenge I could ever have in my life. But I wasn't going to accept that. And so I could be a victim. I could choose to be a victim and lie there and go, you know what, woe is me and my life is over. Or I could do something different. And I chose to do something different. It wasn't a massive change. It was a small shift. I just shifted away from being a victim to being a victor. And you can do the same thing. So look at your life. Is Captain Jones flying your life? Is somebody in charge of your life that's not doing it properly? Well, if that's the case, no need to be upset, no need to be concerned. Just shift. Make a small shift towards the success that you desire. And so what did I do when I was lying in hospital? Well, I had a lot of challenges. I couldn't move. But I could move a toe. I could move a finger. So what did I do? I focused on small, tiny, little, incremental improvements every single day. But I didn't just do that. I had a huge picture in mind. I knew where I wanted to go. And where I wanted to go was, first of all, to walk. And secondly, I set a really outrageous goal, and I said, I want to run the Comrades. And so when the doctor came in the next day, and I was lying in ICU, and he looked down at me, and I said to him, Doc, I'm running Comrades next year. And you know, the doc looked down at me with this wry little grin in the corner of his face, and he went, I can see this kid's going to be here for a long time, but let's encourage him. And so he said, you know, young man, good idea. Have big goals. Aim for big things. And it worked. I did run Comrades the next year. I ran 3 more after that. And let me just tell you quickly about Comrades. If anybody ever says to you, run Comrades, rather get a relative, lie on the carpet, let them beat you on the bottom of your feet for about 16 hours, okay? It's way less painful. But I digress. What I really want us to take from that is understand that I was in a hopeless situation. I had worse than Captain Jones in charge of my life. You're not lying there paralyzed. You have your legs. You have your arms. So what's holding you back? Why aren't you making changes? And we're not talking about rebooting your life here. We're talking about incremental, tiny shifts every single day. Small actions that are going to make a difference. Are you committed to your success in the future? Because if you are, you have every single thing within inside you right now to achieve any results that you want, any outcome that you want to achieve. So don't sell yourself short. Believe in yourself. Be committed to yourself. And you can have, do, and be anything you want. You know, one of the things we need to get a clear perspective on is our why power. You know, we're so driven by our willpower. We think, if I want to do something, all I have to do is will it to be, and I will just keep going. And what happens? Well, life happens. And unfortunately, our willpower starts to wane. But if you've got why power, you can do anything. And let me tell you what I mean by why power. Have a look at the slide on your screen right now and picture yourself between those 2 buildings, walking between those 2 buildings. Terrifying thought. But let's take it back one step. And let's say I take a plank about this wide and I stick it across the floor in front of you. And I offer you 100 Rand and I say, for 100 Rand, would you walk across that plank? You're all going to skip and go, I'll take your 100, that's easy. But have a look back at that slide. I take that same plank and I now suspend it between those 2 buildings. How many of you will now take my 100 Rand to walk across those buildings? Very few. But we change one thing now. We put your child on top of the other building and the building's on fire and the flames are licking at your child's feet. You're on the other building. There's a plank between the 2. How many of you are now going to walk across that plank and go and rescue your child? Everybody. What's changed? All that's changed is the why. You now have a huge reason why you want to do something. And the same is true about your life. If you can search deeper inside yourself and you can find your big why, and you can unlock it, and you can bring it up, your burning child on top of that building, when those inevitable challenges come, and they will come, there's nobody that has ever succeeded without encountering challenges. Winston Churchill became the Prime Minister at 65. We all think, what an amazing man. Yes, he was amazing. But what persistence, what resilience to hang in there until the age of 65. That's perseverance at its best. What about you? Do you persist? Do you keep going no matter how big the challenges are that come your way? Or do you give up? It's too hard. I'm a victim. I can't do this. Or are you a tiger that'll just keep going, persistently going until they succeed? How do you want to be remembered? As a tiger or as a tea bag? I challenge you to be successful. You know, when the immigrants arrive in the States and they've come from these third world countries, they've come from countries that are filled with trauma and challenge, and they arrive in the States and they have these massive opportunities in front of them. Why do they succeed? Well, they succeed because they have a massive why. If they don't succeed, they go back to a third world country with poverty. But if they succeed, they have the most incredible opportunity to have, do, and be anything. You have just that opportunity in your hands right now. So why not you? Why don't you become that successful person that you know you can become? What I want you to understand is that, and I must stress this, I don't want you necessarily to go out and reboot your whole life. You just need to make small shifts. You're probably 95% of the way on the path to where you need to be to experience unbelievable achievement, unbelievable success, super achievement, super success. You need to just make small shifts. I want to give you an example. A couple of years ago, my son was really struggling in matric. He was in the part of the class that makes the top half possible. In fact, he was in the part of the class that makes the bottom half of the class possible. He was really struggling. And around May, and his final exams were in October, we sort of sat down and thought, well, how are we going to fix this? So we didn't have time to reboot his life. We didn't have time to make complete changes in his life. All we could change was a couple of things: his belief in himself, his attitude, and how he did things. But subtle changes. Well, he went from May to October, got the most improved student of the year, went from failing to, well, scraping through passing, not knowing what he wanted to do. 1 minute he wanted to be an electrician, wanted to bum around Europe for a year, to deciding exactly what he wanted. He decided he wanted to become a pilot. In fact, he became the first person in South Africa to get a student loan to become a pilot. An amazing change, but a small shift. And the same is true for you. You can see these magical, amazing, huge changes in your life if you make just those small, tiny shifts. You get that discipline. You know, the challenge we have in life is as easy as it is to get up in the morning and be disciplined and go to the gym to improve our health. So easy is it to push the snooze button, to lie in for another 15 minutes. Really easy, isn't it? So the challenge is, do the difficult stuff. Have the discipline. Get up every day knowing that you're going to take action. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, is a tool and a technique to help you to turn discipline into habit, into routine, into something that you actually do without knowing where you're going. How often do you get behind the wheel of your car, driving somewhere familiar, like to work, and you arrive there and you go, how did I get here? What route did I take? Well, that's your subconscious mind that's taken over, that's driven you on autopilot to where you want to go. Now, what I'm offering you today is a set of tools and techniques that are going to help you to bring, we all have habits, good and bad. This tool is going to help you to introduce new habits, success habits, that are going to become routines. So in other words, you're going to arrive at success one day and go, how did I get here? Well, you're going to get there because you're going to be doing such stuff subconsciously, unconsciously, that is going to make you successful.